我们请了一位 F1工程师，还是老朋友 Martin Buchan 评一下小米YU7的空气动力学设计。或者说一开始我以为是只评气动，但后来发现这个车上的各种细节、毛病以及小特点都被评了个遍。但是在聊外形之前呢，我们还是得先把一个大家最常听到但也是很容易被误解的指标去说清楚。
They claim it's 0.245 of CD.
Drag coefficient is always such a thing because you need to know the frontal area and no one is mentioning that.
Oh yeah.
Then also there are lots of tricks. For example, increase the frontal area in your wind tunnel and then it gives you a lower drag coefficient
Lower CD,
number.
yeah.
So you can maybe put on bigger wheels or something in the wind tunnel, or just if you calculate the frontal area, so it gives you a lower drag number. But it's a very nice coupe-like shape.
Yeah.
It looks very nice. Here's the same thing, right? You just release that pressure through here. It would be even better to get rid of this whole panel, like you see with race cars, for example.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah.
have this.
The prototype version.
Yeah.
The whole part here is open.
Yeah.
But I think for the road-going version, the production version, they have a panel there.
It's also, you don't want to have this sharp edge here basically because air is just hitting it, and so usually you would round that for a race car. Some customers, especially Aston Martin customers,
Right.
they're complaining that you get a lot of dirt from the wheel out here, so the car is always dirty here.
What about this gap? What does this do?
That's the so-called air scarf. So you just take this strong airflow from here. The good thing is you don't have side air intakes, so there's no side intake here.
Right.
You just have this flat plate, basically, this flat surface, and you take the flow and you channel it through here. Maybe you even narrow that gap a bit to speed it up.
Right.
And then you create a scarf around here, and that's guiding the flow around the wheel. So instead of all this dirty air coming out here,
Right.
you have a scarf that is keeping it attached to the car, which means that the so-called virtual frontal area is getting smaller, because you have the frontal area of the car that you see, but the virtual frontal area would be the area the air really has to go, has to flow around. So, and if a lot of air is coming out of here, it's getting wider. So there's more space that the air has to move around. So if you keep everything close to the front wheel, if you keep this scarf here very close, then you can just have less drag.
All the car companies are advertising their CD, but what they really should be saying is the CDA, right?
Yeah.
Including the frontal area.
Yeah,
and so
that's always what I'm looking for.
Right. And sometimes they can do tricks on the drag coefficient.
That is actually common practice because of all the lobbying of the last decades.
所以说呢，阻力系数是车厂最常用来宣传的点，但是呢，真正有意义的数字其实还是要带上迎风面积。
Fully flush. Where other cars have usually like a wall down here, so you can like block this area a little bit more off.
The SU7 Ultra has like small strakes. They'll like block the air entering there to reduce some drag.
For low drag cars like this one, you just want to have a very smooth underbody like this one.
Okay, so smooth transition to the lower side of the battery.
Yeah, so you don't want to have anything disturbing there.
They say all the vents on this car are functional and practical, not only for cool factor purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe you can verify that. Headlight, this tunnel. I think this is one of the most striking features of this car. Only the left-hand side.
There's only the left, and the right-hand side is closed.
Yeah, it is open.
Yeah, it's still opening here. I mean, you still catch all the flow from here. I mean, originally McLaren did this, right?
720?
The 720. Yeah. But there was a real radiator. Look at the flow on the bonnet. You have higher pressure in the middle of the windscreen. So all the air is moving away from that. So all the air would go from the me sign to the outlet, pretty much like this. So which means you have pretty high velocity over here. So these outlet positions are really good. It's just maybe not the right angle, because usually you would angle it like this so that you're 90 degrees to the flow. Right now you're more like, I don't know, 10 degrees to the flow, but it looks cool.
Yeah,
it
it's
does
more of
look
an
good.
aesthetic look.
Another topic is to bury the spring wipers out of the way, which perfectly does. A problem that we had at Audi was always the Audi logo on the C7, C8, for example, is a 3D Audi logo at the front. So this is a nice round nose. There's no separation, nothing. You even have this this seal in here, and the Mi logo doesn't disturb the flow much. But the Audi logo was always coming out, so it's a 3D logo. So you always had separations from that Audi logo. They travel downstream, and you always had dirt on your front window in the middle, which we accepted because we had a nice 3D logo, but aerodynamically it wasn't good.
Well, then what about those standing, not this one, but what about those standing logos of Mercedes? Does it cause even bigger trouble aerodynamically?
It's causing drag, and you have some separations traveling downstream, but it won't really affect the car much because it's such a small thing. But the Audi logo was pretty big.
Yeah.
It was pretty wide. So when you're driving in the rain, you can actually see that you don't have clean flow on the windscreen. You always have the separation bubble in the middle, which usually is not a problem because when you're driving in the rain, the windscreen wiper is on, so you wash it off anyway.
Okay.
But you can always see it. Just one of these little details.
所以这里的对比其实并不是在评价哪个品牌做得更好，而是看不同的工程体系下各自优先解决的问题是什么。那油车和电车面临的工程约束明显就是不一样的，而这些取舍最终都会体现在车上的一个个具体部件上。比如说最常见的后视镜，让我意识到这台车 NVH 做得好，其实除了增加密封条之外，气动设计也是花了很多的心思。
This mirror looks really interesting.
Yeah, you can also see how we separate the flow here. So you don't have the hard separation on here, you already separate it here and then let it go for a bit longer. It's also, if you separate it here, you won't get any noise from this gap.
Partially for drag reduction, partially for noise control.
So this is mostly noise control because otherwise you would get this whistling sound when you're driving from this gap. You have this sharp edge here from production, which we didn't remove. So you can cover this by this separation bar.
Since it's already separated here, the quality here doesn't really matter that much.
It's already in turbulent air and then you won't get this whistling sound. This flow is really important, and you also want to have this cushion between mirror and the side window, because otherwise if you get separations on here, you will hear it, because this is basically like a big speaker. The whole side window is vibrating. You have a lot of noise inside the car. All the latest cars, especially electric cars, have always the mirror pillar or the fixing from below instead of here from this triangular part, like older cars used to be.
Then what's with the this like relatively weird shape? I mean, I know they want to put a camera here, so when the mirrors are folded, you still have the 360 view.
Yeah.
So this looks like a wing-shaped pillar.
It's not completely wing-shaped, but I think they tried as good as possible for
Like a streamlined profile, right?
It's I think the best you can do for a production car, because otherwise it would get too long. If you really want to have a profile that thick, it would be much longer probably, and then it looks weird or it's harder to use. Interesting is also the gap up here. You can also see the double glazing here of the front window.
Is this gap considered big?
This gap. Yeah, I would say it's one of the bigger ones. Other manufacturers cover that.
That'll add to drag as well, right?
You have a lot of flow coming like from the high pressure zone to here, so it's hitting it like this. It doesn't go all the way up. You usually always hit the A-pillar here. This is why Koenigsegg, for example, has this super round front window, so you don't have this issue.
So it's more seamless, like with the air pillar and the front glass.
But it's also not a huge step. There are worse cars than this.
Okay.
Like if you look at the Mercedes, for example, it has this huge grain.
We have Mercedes as a counterexample.
So they have this huge plastic grain here. So if it hits here, it's even like catching the airflow.
Ah, okay.
But this is
I never noticed this.
So this is just to catch all the water, and the water can run down and then go down into the drain. So this is just to make the car more usable, but it's, in terms of aerodynamics, it's not really that ideal.
But I mean, this is a gasoline-powered car, so they don't really care that much
It's
about.
also because they use the cheaper method to connect their roof, because they have spot welding for the roof.
Ah.
They cover it up with this plastic thing. And then the problem over the years, you can see here, that these seals are coming out and they're creating noise, which is something the engineers will never realize when they're designing the car, but it comes out after 10 years or something, and then the customer has the problem.
Okay.
Oh, wow. This car also has this. See, this is disconnected as well. This one? Yeah. It has that Mercedes smell leaking inside the car.
Yeah. I was always joking, like every car brand has a distinctive smell. Like for example, the VW smell.
Yeah.
You even get it like in a race car, it has the same smell.
So we can actually look at the Passat there.
Oh yeah. You
Because
should be really familiar with that one.
Because the Passat has the laser welded roof.
Okay.
So it's not as cheap as the Mercedes with the spot welding and the plastic cover. This one is actually laser welded.
Oh, so this is actually the frame, not some plastic, right?
So this is steel steel, and this is a laser weld between them. So you don't have this cover, and this cover cannot come off, and it doesn't create problems later on.
Yeah, so this looks more tight.
So it's an old car, but this is what the PH era of VW did with engineering.
The peak VW era.
That was the peak,
Yeah.
But it's also just spot welded underneath, and then you just have this plastic cover.
Okay.
And then plastic and rubber are the big problems of old used cars, because with sun and weather and stuff over time,
It'll deteriorate.
these things come up, and then it creates noise.
They replaced the headlight, one side of the headlight.
Yeah, exactly. Because it already had a crash there.
Oh yeah. Good eye.
There are a couple of topics where engineers, aerodynamicists in the development do think about dirt around the car. That's usually the handles of the car. So if you look at the Mercedes, for example, it's actually dirty, which is good. So we can see how the front wheel wake comes out here, and you see the top of it, and it's flowing down here. So the handle is here, it's always clean. So at the Xiaomi, the handles are pretty low. I would expect that you get some dirt there, because you have pretty big wheel arches. You even have this thing here pointing that direction. And I could imagine that you get some dirt here.
Okay.
Did you realize that?
I shouldn't have washed this car yesterday. So we have like a flow viz going on.
Oh, all of these cars are so clean. This is so now Beijing.
Automatically like slips inside like that.
Yeah.
But there's always dirt trapped down in here.
Is that for drain?
Yeah, that's for training because
okay.
water will get into there.
Okay.
那如果说车头和侧面更多的是在管理空气如何经过这辆车，那车尾关心的呢，就是这些空气将会以什么样的方式去离开。
Pretty much working like a parachute, so the air is going like inside here,
Right.
and just to get off this pressure. Otherwise, you would have some higher pressure building up here, so
okay.
you can blow it to the back, and you blow it into the wake behind the car, so you can increase the pressure behind the car.
Also to reduce the stagnation pressure there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, you have this separation line here. So any turbulences or stuff, you don't pull it behind the car, you can just separate it here. Usually you would want to have such a separation line all the way down here, but here they kept it round. Corvette, for example, has a very boxy rear end.
Oh yeah.
With,
Yeah.
such a separation
Pretty
line
sharp
going,
line, right?
going all the way around. And if you have a car with a round rear end, you want to have such a separation line somehow. So you have the spoiler here and you have another spoiler here.
So a relatively sharp trailing edge to
Send the flow up the back and not pull it further around the car. Interesting. Also this one is not creating downforce or anything. You can see how it's pointing downwards.
right.
And it's pointing downwards onto the
Okay.
spoiler.
So to prevent separation on the rear window, right?
Otherwise, if you wouldn't have this thing, it's quite a steep turn. So if you drive faster, like 200 kilometers per hour maybe, or faster, it would be possible that the flow cannot follow the shape so well anymore, so nothing would reach the spoiler.
Ah, okay.
So you can keep it attached to this.
Would a vortex generator on the roof do the same thing to keep the flow attached to the
Yes.
rear window? Okay.
Yeah, it would do the same thing, but usually vortex generators are quite hard to do on road cars because of passenger
regulation.
pedestrian safety and stuff. They need to be very round. They shouldn't have sharp edges, but to create a proper vortex, they need to have sharp edges. So that's why usually that's a better thing, and it looks better.
到了这里，其实有些设计已经不完全是在解决纯性能问题，而是在试图传达一种意象。Martin 在这里是发现了不少为了看起来像超跑而做的视觉设计。
Thought the two part down there was trying to evoke the image of a diffuser,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you can see this on all the cars because everyone wants to be like a mid-engine sports car,
Right.
which means that in the middle you can't have a diffuser because there's the gearbox.
Right.
And on the left and on the right, you have these huge diffuser channels, like
Yeah.
McLaren, for example. And
Even like a Formula One car, right? Like a
Yeah.
2022 later version of Formula One car.
yeah,
So this is the rear, like the center rear crash structure.
yeah. And this even looks like the gearbox is sticking out, but it's just the rear light.
Yeah, this doesn't have a
You can even
gearbox.
see it on the Ford Fiesta ST, so even small cars with transversal drivetrain.
Oh
They
yeah.
have nothing to do with mid-engine cars, but they have this design at the back, so they look like a McLaren or something.
So like a long nose and this kind of split diffuser design is all like a lot of the high performance cars have that, and we are trying to evoke the emotion of high performance cars, right?
Designers get the task to design a sporty look for such a car.
Right.
And designers are no engineers, so they just see sports cars, they look like this, so then they do the same design on something like that.
Right. Are those the spiritual? Yeah, the strakes for diffuser, right? But they're like really thick, not really straight. right?
Because it's just easier to get them out of the plastic mold. If they would be as thin as this all the way, then it would be easy to break them off. This is just more stable, and it still gives you the look if you're behind the car.
Yeah.
This is
But that doesn't do anything, right?
diffuser.
I mean, it does something because it's in the way for the flow, but it doesn't really help you here.
It doesn't help the rear like wheel wake and.
I mean, usually you have these strakes as long as possible because you want to keep the rear wheel wake away from the
the diffuser area and tire squirt.
Yeah, so that all these disturbances of the rear wheel stay outside,
Right.
and the middle is
Ooh.
clean. And
It doesn't bounce back.
Yeah, air suspension. It just.
it bounced back a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good as the CD. Ooh.
It feels you're too heavy and.
I like that function.
Yeah.
但是呢，令他惊讶的是，在很多车上其实都是纯心情键的开孔，竟然是真正在气动上有意义的。
Oh, another one notices here. There's one on the outside here.
Yep.
And there's another channel inside here.
Is that open?
Yeah, it's open.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, nice they open that because it costs a lot of money to do these things.
So does this actually have a function that?
I mean, you're blowing air, like high pressure air, into the wake behind the car, so that helps with drag. That's a good thing. Although the question is, how much does it help? Because these are quite small channels. It's a nice effect, and it's always a nice thing if you can say that the air intakes on this, everything you see makes sense. A lot of cars have fake air inlets, the Mercedes over there.
Oh yeah. That looks like what should be for brake cooling, but it doesn't really need.
You don't need the side inlets there, and also around the parking sensor you don't need that.
Design as well. So is Porsche that part actually useful?
The lower part.
Porsche air intakes are always useful, yeah. On most of the cars, yeah. But Porsche Macan, for example, has real air inlets there. And these strakes, these horizontal strakes at the Porsche are even wing-shaped. So they even spend more money, not just to create this shape, they have a second part that creates this shape.
那抛开空气动力学，这台车的骨架和皮肉究竟如何呢？作为一个习惯了奥迪标准的德国工程师以及辉腾车主，Buchan开始关注起了我们这些普通人都很难注意的小细节。
The drop.
So
I like it or not?
This is not as straight as it should be because
Yeah.
it's just like ice cream, right? It's just a drop here. You don't want to have, but it's just a small thing. Most customers won't notice that.
Yeah, but you do.
Yeah.
You are not an average customer.
Car doctor.
And also at cars of this price range, you don't want to have spot welds here in the visible area. That's why I guess they also covered this here. So VW started making these frames out of one piece, so you don't have any spot welds here, which is the same here. You don't have any spot welds. If you look at first Teslas, Model S for example, you have spot welds in the interior.
So good stuff here.
Yeah, so
And-
there's no spot weld here, it's super clean. You also have the super clean connector here in case you need to take the door off or something.
Right.
This is really nicely made.
So easy to replace.
Yeah. Interesting is always how many layers of seals they have, because you have a low drag car which should be super silent, but you have frameless windows, which is a challenge. It's always easier for the manufacturer to have a frame here. So if they do this, it costs more money and it's harder to do. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3 layers.
Right.
And here is one, and there is one, so it's 2 layers up here, and here more layers. So, and also you seal between the B-pillar and the window, which not every car with such frameless windows have. Interesting is this here as well. So you have this one, you seal this one, and here's the next layer. So you have 3 layers actually.
So all
this
the
is-
seams have at least 3 layers of seals.
Yeah, like the Phaeton.
Like the Phaeton, yeah.
Phaeton has 3 layers, so this is 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Then other cars, if you check out like cheaper cars in this category, have 1 or 2 layers.
So you're saying this spot weld is not preferable for. This is the welding spot, right? Like this one.
Yeah, exactly.
This
so
one?
that's
And
something
this one.
you usually want to cover if you open the trunk. But I mean, they did it pretty well already because you can't really see them. You could also put the sticker on there, and then it's fine.
Right. So this is not like a really important part, like right in your face.
No.
Okay.
It's not really a technical issue. It's just like Piech always said, if you open the car, you don't want to see spot weld. So at Audi, we even put like a second layer of transparent plastic above that, even on the A3, even on cheap cars, so you don't feel anything when you go over it. No customer cared, and it cost a lot of money for the company. So they stopped that. But as long as Pierce was there, they did.
Yeah, if you just want to do like everything to the max.
If you're driving a Phaeton, for example, you don't want to see these screws because it just looks like you can go to the tool market and take your car apart, and it shouldn't be like this.
Feels like the Apple approach, right? Like Steve Jobs was saying,
Yeah.
like, okay, there should
Everything
be.
super clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the maximum it can open?
No, I think you can open it like further, but because I'm not that tall, so
Yeah.
easier for me to reach. You can set it like electronically.
Okay. Because otherwise that would be a bit low. But
Yeah.
here's also a drop. So you can see when they. So probably the tailgate is open in that position as it is right now.
Right.
And
So
then
that's the lowest part, right?
Yeah. All the paint is moving to here, and then while drying, you create this drop here. These are all just little details. So it's not really a technical issue. It just tells you how they
Like
design
aesthetics
the car.
and how detail oriented they are, right?
Yeah. Then this is metal. This is plastic. So usually the paint responds differently to different
Right.
surfaces, right? Sometimes you can see color differences between them.
Is it very obvious?
No, Pierce, no.
Oh, okay.
Nothing I can see, but I'm just saying this is something to look out for. The old Skodas of that time have the better surface quality because labor was so cheap in Czech Republic that they had people rubbing down the whole car to make it super smooth and then paint it. So Skoda had the same paint quality than Bentley.
So with the metal part and the plastic part.
Do you have things that you think Xiaomi should absolutely not have?
So I would change the door handles.
Move it up?
I mean, we Germans like the Mercedes door handles, or Passat, like this
Like,
rubber handle
yeah.
you can properly grab.
Yeah, like
Also-
normal door handles.
And also girls with long fingernails can properly grab it without scratching your car.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this is already one of the better ones.
This you have to push in. If it doesn't open automatically,
Yeah.
accumulates dirt and also water here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is one design I don't really like on this.
I like these
I mean, like
posts,
this.
This is good.
Yeah. And also for aero, right? It's flush
Yeah.
with the surface.
So
I think that's valid for the outside.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, that's more than enough.
Yeah.
You will get a call from PR already.
Yeah. What do you think of it overall? Like after riding it,
I think it's a pretty well-made car. For like, given that it's their second car.
second
right?
car.
So they already took away all the lessons learned from other brands and put it in this car. It's really nice. And all of the little details that we saw that are not as Phaeton are just small things that most customers won't realize.
以上就是这次Buchan来到北京，我们拉他去山里体验点评小米预期的全部内容。再一次感谢他的时间，而且呢，现在他其实在 B 站也有账号，大家可以去他的账号上多多去关注支持一下。好的，那这次的视频就先到这里，大家觉得这种类型的内容怎么样呢？喜欢的话记得来个点赞投币3连转发支持一下吧。